Hello friends and welcome to Unacademy UPSC Current Affairs. And today in this series, that is the current polity of the day, we will be discussing about the bills of the parliament. We will be discussing about the parliament bill. So I am myself Joicy Joy and let's discuss about the current affair that is related to parliament bill, and then we will come to the concept related to the parliament bill. So let's begin, but before that, little bit about Unacademy and the courses that we provide. And just taking up the comments, Ankit Sharma has commented, good evening Ankit, and this is the topic which I was looking for as it is related with current happenings. Thank you so much for choosing this topic. Thank you Ankit, and thank you for your response and thank you for your comment. Thanks a lot. So yeah, let's get started. Before that, let me introduce to you the courses that we provide at Unacademy. So as you know, hardly 6 more months are left for your prelims. And Gaurav Chandra, good evening Gaurav, and how are you? I'm good Gaurav, and I hope you are also doing good. Bhavik Batra, good evening Bhavik. Hello Bhavik. Okay, so yeah. So a little bit about the courses that we provide here at Unacademy. So 6 months left for your prelims, and considering that June 27th is the date that has been fixed for your prelims examination. So considering that, we have designed 2 batches. One is the Ultimate GS batch. So Ultimate GS batch, and second one is Mission 2021. So Ultimate batch and Mission 2021 both are 6 months crash courses. So these 2 batches are for 2021 prelims. So these are crash courses. Within 6 months we will be covering the prelim syllabus, complete prelim syllabus. The classes will be handled by the top educators of Unacademy. There will be a prelims test series along with the analysis, and also you will be given the PDF study material, and there will also be dedicated doubt clearing sessions also for interview preparations. So this is regarding the 6 months crash courses. One is Ultimate and the one is the Mission batch, Mission 2021 batch. Mohan King has commented, good evening Mohan. Okay, so yeah, and this is the Ultimate batches, long-term Ultimate batches. So Ultimate batches are also available for 1 year and 2 years. So these are long-term batches, 1 year batch and 2 year batch, which will be for 2022 and 23 exams. We also have Lakshya program. So Lakshya program is exclusive Hindi medium GS classes. So all the GS classes will be held in Hindi. And the Lakshya program is also available for 6 months, 1 year and 2 years. So short term and long term courses are available, and this will be exclusively in Hindi. We also have expedition batches. Expedition batches are exclusively in English. So these batches, all of them are in English, and these are also available for 6 months, 1 year and 2 years. This is regarding the iconic prices. So we are soon to announce a hike in the prices for iconic subscription. So you can avail your subscription as soon as possible. And also regarding the features, the additional features that we provide under iconic subscription, which are not available for plus subscription. So apart from the features available on plus platform, iconic subscription comes with some additional features. So first of all, you will be assigned with a personal mentor. This personal mentor shall be your coach, personal coach throughout the preparation, who will be taking care of your specialized needs. Also, there will be a mains test series along with evaluation, customized study planner, study booster sessions, high intensity workshops, and daily answer writing practice. So you can subscribe for iconic courses, and if you are subscribing for either the plus courses or the iconic courses, you can use my referral code, which is Joicy10, JOICY10. So this is my referral code. You can use it and you will get an additional 10% discount. So this is my referral code, and this is regarding the biggest discount for 2020. So biggest discount of 2020, it's a combo offer. So UPSC CSE GS subscription plus the optional, it comes at 70,153. Earlier it was 77,000. UPSC CSE GS iconic subscription plus the optional, it comes at 88,705. Earlier it was 97,000. And also you can apply my referral code, which is Joicy10. You will get an extra 10% off. So this extra 10% off, this is over and above what the Unacademy is providing. So this is over and above what is being provided by the Unacademy. Now let's come to the current affair first. Let us understand what is the current affair. So regarding the parliament sessions, the Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot on Friday said that the amendment bills passed in the State Assembly last month to counter the centre's farm laws were held up in Raj Bhavan. Raj Bhavan means the place, the residence of the governor residence, as the governor was not sending them for presidential assent. So this is the allegation or the statement made by the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Rajasthan Chief Minister has said that the amendment bills, there were certain amendment bills which were passed in Rajasthan last month, and the purpose of these amendment bills were to counter the central farm laws, the farm laws which were passed by the centre. So Ashok Gehlot, the Chief Minister, says that these bills are held up in the Raj Bhavan. That is, the governor is not sending them for the presidential assent. So it is not finalized, or it does not become an act. Okay, it does not become an act before it is getting the assent. Okay, so political appointments in the state were getting delayed because of the MCC Model Code of Conduct enforced for Panchayat and local body elections. So political appointments in the states were getting delayed because of MCC, the Model Code of Conduct enforced during the elections, local level elections. So you know what is MCC? You know what is MCC, and we have already discussed about MCC in detail. And Mr. Gehlot said that the bills on honor killings and mob lynching passed earlier this year were also not getting the President's approval. So these are the allegations, or these are the statements made by the Rajasthan Chief Minister. So, yeah. Now, considering all these, this is the current affair. So, this is the current affair, and based on this, we will see what is a parliament bill. Now, Parliament is the ultimate law-making authority in India. So ultimate law-making authority means it is the legislature. So we know that there are three organs for the government. One is the legislature, another one is the executive, another one is the judiciary. Now if we look into these three organs, the legislature is actually responsible for passing the laws or making laws for the country. So the purpose of legislature is to make laws for the country. Executive, it's the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister is the executive. So executive is responsible for coming up with or deciding the laws that are needed. The decisions are made by the executive, and the implementation is also done by the executive. And judiciary, it includes the constitutional courts of the country, the court. So courts being the guardian of the constitution and also being the interpreter of the constitution, will see how the legislature makes the laws, and will also see that these laws made by the legislature are on lines with the constitutional principles. Okay, so Parliament is the ultimate law making authority, which means Parliament is what we refer to as the legislature. And bill is a draft of legislative proposal. So bill is not actually sorry. So bill is not the final law. A bill becomes a law only if it gets the assent of the president. So only when the president gives assent to a bill. Bill has to be passed in the parliament. It is only a draft proposal. So bill is a proposal. It has to be passed in the parliament. The legislature has to pass the bill, and after that finally the president has to give the assent to the bill. Only then it becomes a act. A bill includes recommendation of administrators to run the government. So recommendation of the administrators, that is the council of ministers, or the recommendations of the government. Bill is actually any bill that is brought in. Bill can be either a government bill or can be a private member bill also. But if we take into the history of private bill or private member bills in the country, there are very less number of private member bills that have been passed in the parliament. So mostly the bills are brought in by the government. So government bill means which is introduced by a minister representing the government, and those bills, that is the government bills, actually reflect the perspective or the principles that the government has adopted. So it is according to the will of the government, or it is according to the wishes of the government that a government bill is introduced by a minister. So bill is only a draft. There are many steps before it becomes an act. So bill is only a draft, and it's a recommendation of the administrators to run the government. A bill becomes a law if it is passed by both houses of the parliament and gets the assent of the president. So bill is only a draft and it becomes a law. It becomes a law only if it is passed by both houses of the parliament. It has to be passed by both houses of the parliament, that is the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. It has to be passed by both houses of the parliament, and finally it has to get the assent of the president. So only then a bill becomes an act. So for a bill to become an act, first of all the legislative consent, that is it must be passed by the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and finally the president has to give the assent. Now let's come to the stages of passing an ordinary bill. What are the stages that are involved in passing an ordinary bill? First is a first reading, where a minister or a member. So in case of a government bill, it is introduced by the minister. In case of a member, he introduces a private member bill. A minister or a member introduces the bill in either house of the parliament. So it can be introduced either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. This is the first reading. And no discussion on the bill takes place in this stage. So in this stage, that is in the first reading, there is no discussion about the bill. Second reading may take the bill into consideration immediately or on some other fixed date. So for the second reading, the bill is taken into consideration immediately. So after the first reading, it's taken for consideration immediately, or a particular date will be, a future date will be fixed for that. And in the second reading, what will happen? Either the members will agree to pass the bill, or it can be referred to a select committee of the house. So a select committee of that house, in case it is presented in Rajya Sabha or in Lok Sabha, in that particular house a select committee will be made, and this bill will be referred to the select committee. It can be either select committee of the house or joint committee of both the houses. Sometimes it can be like, if the bill is introduced in Lok Sabha, then a committee of the Lok Sabha will be made to look into the bill. Or what can happen, a joint committee, that is members from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will be drawn, and a joint committee will be made, and this bill can be referred to the joint committee. And in the second reading, this bill will can also be circulated to elicit the public opinion. So in the second reading, this bill can also be taken to the for the public opinion. Next is third reading. In the third reading, either acceptance or rejection of the bill takes place. So first reading, introduction of the bill. Second one, discussion of the bill. Third reading, what happens? Either the bill is accepted or the bill is rejected. Now, in the third reading, no amendments can be introduced or no amendments to the bill is allowed in the third reading. So when will the amendment takes place? Second reading, because it will be referred to a select committee or to a joint committee, and this committee will suggest the amendment. So in the second reading, the amendments can happen. So third reading, no amendments to the bill are allowed. Now, bill will be introduced in the first house. Now it will go to the second house. If it is introduced in Lok Sabha first, it will go to the Rajya Sabha. So the bill will be sent to the second house, and in the second house also all the three stages are repeated. So all the three stages that we have seen, all these three stages are repeated in the second house also. And the second house can take one of the four actions. One, it can pass the bill. So first one is the second house may pass the bill. Second, the house may pass the bill with amendments and return to the first house for reconsideration. Third, it may reject the bill. Or fourth, it may not take any action and can keep the bill pending. Suppose if a bill is passed in Lok Sabha and passed through all three stages. Now, what happens? It will go to Rajya Sabha second. In the Rajya Sabha, either the Rajya Sabha members can accept it. Secondly, they can bring amendments and give the bill back to Lok Sabha for reconsideration. Third is rejection. Fourth, can keep the bill pending. That is without making any action, without taking any action on the bill. So these are the four things that can happen with regard to the bill in the second house. And now what is important for us from the exam perspective is to understand that suppose if the government is having a majority in one of the house, let's take for example Lok Sabha. So if the government is having a majority in Lok Sabha, is it possible for the government to simply bring in laws for the country? No. There is a check and balance. There is a second house, that is Rajya Sabha. And Rajya Sabha, you have to remember that it is a council of states. States are sending the representatives to Rajya Sabha, and the representatives from the states will ensure that the interest of the states are protected while any of the bills are being passed. So what happens here? This Rajya Sabha will protect the federalism of the country, because in federalism, in cooperative federalism, the states and the union works in cooperation and coordination with each other. So if the bill is passed in Rajya Sabha, it means that even the members who are representing the states, they have also given their assent to the or acceptance to the bill. So that is why we said, even if in the Lok Sabha the government is having a clear-cut majority, a bill becomes an act only if it's passed in the Rajya Sabha, that is a upper house of the parliament, and upper house is a representation of the states, because the states are sending its members or representatives to the upper house, that is to the Rajya Sabha. Now, third step in the passing of a bill is assent of the president. So, finally, the president has to give his assent. Only then a bill becomes an act. So, for a bill to become an act, the president has to give his assent. So, president has some options with the bill. So, do certain things. One is, the president can give his assent to the bill. Then, what happens? Automatically it becomes an act. So if the president gives the assent to the bill, it becomes an act, and this is placed on a statute book. That is, statute book is the book of law. So it becomes an act of the parliament and it becomes a law of the land. It becomes act of the parliament and law of the land. Second, the president may withhold his assent to the bill. That is, the president can withhold his assent, that is, not give his assent. And what happens here? If the president does not give his assent, the bill ends and does not become an act. So, if the president is not giving assent, it does not become an act. Now, what is the irony here? According to the constitution, the president of the country has to act according to the aid and advice of the council of ministers. So president has to act in accordance to the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Now, here the president will have to give the assent at most of the times, but there are exceptional cases where the president has withhold the bill. So there are cases in the history, but mostly the president gives, because the president is appointed by the central government only. Not appointed, actually the president is elected, but you know how does the election takes place. So the central government and the states, they have a fair share of votes. So definitely the president will act according to the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers most of the time. Okay, but there were exceptions in the past. Now, thirdly, the president may return the bill for reconsideration. So the president also can give back the bill for reconsideration. President can say that this bill has to be reconsidered, and what happens, the houses can or cannot make amendments and send it back to the president. And if the president is giving a bill for reconsideration, and if it comes back to the president again with or without amendments, the president has to accept it. So that is the condition. Okay, so regarding president is an elected body. So president, you know how does the election of the president takes place. It's not a direct election, but still, even though it's not a direct election, the MPs and the MLAs, states and the central government, the parliament members and the members of the legislative assembly, they have a voting share. Okay, and president is also the nominal head of the government, nominal head of the central government. So considering all that, okay, considering that he is a nominal head and prime minister, Council of Ministers headed by the prime minister. Prime minister is the real head or real executive. Considering all that, and according to constitutional provision that the president has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, most of the times the president will give the assent, but there are exceptions in the past where the president has withhold the bill or withhold the assent and rejected the bill. Okay. Now, this is regarding the veto power of the president. So, veto power of the president enjoys absolute veto, suspensive and pocket veto. So, let's see. Absolute veto means the bill ends even after passed by the parliament and does not become an act. So, absolute veto means the bill is passed by the parliament and it's sent to the president. So president has rejected the bill or president has withheld the bill, it becomes end of it. So it does not become an act. So it does not become an act even if it's passed by the parliament. Okay, this is absolute veto. Second is suspensive veto. That is, the president returns the bill to the Indian Parliament for its reconsideration and can be overridden by a repassage of the bill. Suspensive veto means the third case where the president feels that certain amendments are needed. So what the president will do, will give it back to the Parliament for reconsideration. Now the Parliament can make amendments or without making amendments, they can send it back to the president. Now the president is obliged to give assent to the bill. That is, when the Parliament is giving it to the president for the second time after reconsideration and may or may not bring in the amendments, the president has to give the assent, and this is called suspensive veto. Next is pocket veto. Pocket veto simply means that the president is keeping the bill pending for an indefinite period. That is, not acting upon the bill for an indefinite period. Not acting upon the bill for an indefinite period. And no veto power when it comes to constitutional amendment bills. This is very important. The president does not have a veto power when it comes to constitutional amendment bills. If the parliament passes a constitutional amendment bill, the president is obliged to give his assent to such type of bills. So the president does not enjoy veto power over the constitutional amendment bills. Now, Gaurav has asked me what is FCRA. FCRA is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So this is about the passing of bills by the Parliament. Now, once again, regarding the biggest offer Unacademy is announcing this year in 2020, it's a combo offer. You can subscribe for UPSC CSE GS plus courses plus the optionals, and it is available at 70,153. Earlier the price was 77,000. Now it's available for 70,153. The UPSC CSE GS iconic subscription plus optionals, it comes at 88,705. Earlier the price was 97,000. You can also apply my referral code, which is Joicy10, JOICY10. You will get an extra 10% discount. This is regarding the biggest sale or the biggest discount of 2020. भाविक बत्रा मैम, टी शर्ट में आपको सर्दी नहीं लगती? नहीं, आई एम फ्रॉम केरला, सो इट्स इवन दो इट्स अ विंटर सीजन, इट्स वेरी हॉट हियर. तो मौसम बहुत गर्म मौसम है, इसलिए कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. सो यस. एंड अंकित, thank you so much ma'am, and good night and take care. See you. Yeah, thank you Ankit, thank you for watching, thank you for your support. Gaurav, udhar third nahi pad rahi kya ma'am? It's very hot here actually. The temperatures is somewhere around 32 degrees. I just checked now. So it's around 32 degrees here, and this is how our winters are, and summers it goes up to even 40 degrees. So yeah. अंकित, केरला में नहीं है. यस, केरला में तो विंटर्स नहीं होता, बिकॉज वी आर अ कोस्टल स्टेट, वी लिव वेरी क्लोज टू द कोस्टल एरिया. उत्तर प्रदेश में रिकॉर्ड थर्ड फट रही. यस, आई नो यूपी इज़ वेरी कोल्ड, स्पेशली इन winters it's very cold. I have been to Kashmir last month, so it was like very cold there. I was not able to tolerate the climate there. Mohan King, ma'am, can Lok Sabha has to take permission of president to cancel bill any of the house? No need. Bhavik Batra, I am from Haryana. Okay, hi Bhavit. So yeah, Haryana is also such a beautiful place, very close to Delhi. Yeah, so thank you so much everyone. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much for watching the session. I'll meet you again tomorrow 8 p.m. on the other channel, Unacademy Articulate with Economy of the Day. You take care and bye-bye. See you.